Welcome, and thank you so much for joining me. My name is Vicchi Oleski, and I'm a transformational coach, an energy healer, and a person that has been in the entrepreneurial healing arts since age 11. That is back in late 60s. Actually, it was 1970 that I did my first hands-on session with community in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, where my family and my father are from. I recently spent 6 months in a personal retreat there at my home at the Golden Eagle Hospital, established in 1893. No kidding. I always wanted to work in a hospital, so I got to do that, and desired to rewrite some story, some of my life story, knowing the work that I do and have done with my clients. I'm always the person that is on the table first, looking and seeking and healing some of my owie spots. Today's story is about how I was meeting up with some community people here, neighborhood people, just, about 3 or 4 days ago, and they all said, "Where have you been? We have not seen you in quite a while." So I was like, "Oh yeah, I was back east." And they're like, "Oh, how was that?" And I was telling them how great, it was to be there and away from here. And I'm so happy to be back home. And, I asked them how they were doing. And one particular person was saying that she was still working out of a little bit of a situation that she had found herself in post-COVID. And then I said, "Tell me more." And she said, "Oh, it felt like a wrecking ball, like a big wrecking ball, like it was just a wreck. My life is a wreck, and I'm just piecing it back together again." I said, "Oh yeah, I get that. I get how, that happened for me too." And she's like, "Oh, it did?" And I said, "Oh yeah." I said, it was like a wrecking ball just came in and just leveled everything that was going on." I said, "But now that it's over with and done, I started to see that it wasn't a wrecking ball. It was a bowling ball going down the center of the bowling alley, and it exploded all the pins, and it was like a strike right down the center." And as I said that, I was like lifting my arms, and I was like, "A strike." And she looked at me and she goes, "Oh my God." I said, "Right?" And she said, "Thank you so much." I said, "You're welcome. You're so welcome." She goes, I've been really desiring a new perspective, and I still felt like I was stuck in this old way of sensing what had happened, realizing that it had already occurred, and that, how do I stay present and current with my life and with my projects and my family and her yard and her garden. And I said, "Oh yeah, it can be kind of wonky for all of us, but sooner or later, what is calling us, we begin to align with." And that's about, letting go of resistance and just being with what is. And then we start to see with clarity and a calm heart and stillness and peace, and pushing that victimhood aside and saying, "Oh, whatever." I wanted to pass this story on to you because if this just currently happened I believe that, or I know that my last 3 years were full of many of these things, and life will continue this way. It is changed for all of us. And I think to constantly be vigilant with staying present is what is needed. And how do we be vigilant without being rigid and controlling over being present? How do we do that? My suggestion is always to get out in nature, to have a practice, daily practice. Sometimes I do long practices, 45 minutes to 75 minutes. Sometimes I do intermittent practices, just like intermittent fasting. I do 3 to 5 times a day. I time myself out. And this changes periodically. Honestly, I usually do a 40 to 45 day practice, and then I switch it up. Whatever works for you. Get out in nature. Eat whole, good, dense, nutritious food. And be in good company. Be in good company. We combined with what we're around. I want to leave you with today. Get in nature, eat well, and stay in good company.